All right, service! Let's move, these dishes are meant to be eaten piping hot. I called out to the kitchen staff. To their well-trained credit, the staff was already moving to take the extremely hot plateware before I finished my command. As a head chef, one still had appearances to keep up, and hard-ass was all a part of that. The covered dishes were whisked away, and soon it was just me alone in the kitchen. I find it interesting that you chose to go with the tempura cheese curds. I do not believe that anyone has tried cheese, at least not in the ricotta or soft cow's milk style here before. Is that correct? Well, not quite alone. Never fully alone. A rueful sigh escaped my lips, and I smiled bittersweetly at the internal query before answering. Alan, my curious AI companion, if you must know, I had planned on using the cheese curd for dinner tonight anyway, but thought it would be a nice and special surprise for the princess and her retinue. I figured if we can wow them with dinner, then whatever negotiations follow will be tilted in our favor, however minutely. It's hard to be mentally sharp with an overly full and satisfied belly. The brain can't help but dull itself processing all the tasty deliciousness. Ah, I see. Instead of hearts and minds, it's bellies and minds, is it? Not a bad strategy, but have you thought about what negotiations with the princess and Lord So would be towards? Yes, I've been thinking about it ever since the princess and her people arrived. I want to get a good judge of her and her companion's character over dinner, with the help of my neural implant, and you, of course, before making a final decision. Based on the results, I think we need the manpower. It's paramount to our survival. We only have about 1,500 able-bodied men and women on the island who can hypothetically defend it. I'm sure a number of them will be unable to do it for psychological or other reasons. That gives us a more realistic estimate of about 1,000 to 1,200 men and women for the defense of the island. All of them, except for less than 200, are untrained as warriors. That's give or take less than 1,000 untrained men and women who will have to fight bloody, war-trained and battle-tested Mongol warriors, among other worse things. I internalized, with a large mental frown at those numbers. Alan answered without missing a beat, showing he'd been waiting to jump in as I had expected. That is surprisingly correct, Ryo. You are on the right track, but your numbers are a bit off. The actual amount of fighting men and women available would only be between 500 and 700, including the already trained samurai and other warriors. The rest of the residents would need to support the island's defense as well, but they would be tending to the needs of the military and the fighters, along with the daily work that always needed to be done. We also need the staff for handling the wounded, which takes a surprising amount of labor. Of those that can fight, many are our skilled crafters and artisans, like Masuda-san or Lady Tanaka. If possible, we should try to keep them from battle, as their skills would be sorely missed after the battle if they were to be killed in combat. Yeah, I thought of most of that even with my tiny monkey brain, I interjected with some mental hoots and hollers.